Welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I'm going to mention very briefly the contents of the President's discussion the other day regarding Iran and the recent report showing that their nuclear weapons program was discontinued in 2003, and how he is trying to spin this into the fact that Iran is still an extremely dangerous enemy of ours, because they had the capacity at one time to produce nuclear weapons. They could get it again. Ooh, I see. Well, I wonder how many other countries might fall into that category. But that's not the main thrust of this issue. This issue is regarding free trade. While I was listening to the President, he mentioned a couple of things that would be coming before Congress. Free trade agreements with Peru and Bolivia. And I just want to say one thing about free trade agreements. They're not free, at least not for the United States. Every free trade agreement that we've entered into with any other country has meant something lost for this country, whether it be jobs outsourced, whether it be products that we can't export but we must import. There's a net loss to our economy. And this is always going to be true no matter who we team up with, whether it's Canada, Mexico, whether it's any other country around the world, because we have the stronger economy. And because we have the stronger economy, any free trade agreement that we enter into with any other country, our playing field here has to be lowered to theirs. So, what ends up happening? We have a flood of goods come into this country from that country, and because that country is not as strong economically and usually poorer, they cannot afford to pay the prices for our goods. So what ends up happening is our trade imbalance ends up worse in the long run. Free trade stinks. We do not need free trade agreements with anybody. If there was such a thing as free trade, then European countries who regularly impose tariffs and other stealth taxes on imports that come into their countries from the United States would not be doing that. We do not impose levies on other countries, especially those that we have free trade agreements with. So, next time there's a vote coming up in Congress to vote on any kind of free trade agreement, urge your congressman to vote no, because free trade is not free for the United States. We're the ones that have to pay. We pay everything for it. We lose our jobs, we lose our exports, and we have to absorb the economic loss that is entailed in that trade agreement. And we also have to absorb everything that's coming in from that country that we've joined together with in that agreement. So, my analysis is free trade sucks. Free trade agreements suck. That's it. There is no such thing. If we had a level playing field around the globe, then we could have free trade agreements with everybody, and it would be great. Exports would go out, people would be able to buy them, but because that's not the case, free trade agreements are inherently flawed, and therefore something that we should avoid at all costs. Remember that next time you hear a vote coming up. Tell your congressman, vote no. Free trade costs the United States way too much. Thank you. Good night.